ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यदेशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्तवृंद। कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. It is said that even after knowing about this world, great souls get bewildered. Even great souls are bewildered. They are the realized ones. Illusory energy of the Lord is very wonderful. And she is very beautiful also. Yes. Now, when it comes to illusory energy, one thing we have to understand is everyone can be put into illusion. Everyone. And who puts people into illusion? Krishna himself. And Chaitanya Charitamrita says, Ekale Ishwara Krishna Arasabha Bhritya Jare Jaiche Nachaye Se Taiche Kare Nritya. There's only one Ishwara, there's only one controller, and that is Krishna. So you can imagine a puppeteer, having all the strings, and the entire creation is connected to those strings, and Krishna makes everyone dance. So nice to imagine, no? All of us sitting here, all of us, we have some strings connected, and Krishna is making everyone dance. And not just conditioned souls. We understand conditioned souls are always there under the clutches of Maya, and Maya is under the supervision of the Lord. But not just conditioned souls, even the incarnations of the Lord. Lord makes them also to dance. Very great. Very great. Supreme controller. He is supreme. He is not some ordinary controller, some chutku Ishwara. He is supreme Ishwara. And we understand this illusory potency of the Lord is so strong that it can keep anyone and everyone in illusion. Conditioned souls being in illusion is not a big thing. So all of us every now and then, we are then they're in illusion only. Once one disciple came to Srila Prabhupada and he said that, Prabhupada, what to do? Sometimes I fall in illusion. And Prabhupada said, no, sometimes you fall in Krishna. Most of the time you're in illusion. That's what is our case. But let's talk about great devotees. See, history is the proof. Even in our organization, so many great stalwarts. Oh, what service they rendered to Srila Prabhupada. So many wonderful services. But the illusory energy is very strong. They deviated, they fell. Then we have so many examples from Shastra. Just imagine Vishwamitra. He had so much of desire to become Brahma Rishi from Raja Rishi. He was a Raja Rishi. He wanted to become Brahma Rishi. What tapasya he did. But illusion is so strong. Illusory energy is so strong. One lady did the job. Menaka. She did the job. She disturbed him by her ankle bells. Now she didn't do much. She was walking and the tinkling sound of the ankle bells disturbed Vishwamitra. And the famous words, the first words of Bhagavatam. Janmadhyasyaton vayaditaratas charthisva bhignaswarat tene brahmaradayadi kavaye muyyanti yat surayah. Even the great suras, the great devatas, they are also illusioned by the Lord's illusory potency. Prabhupada tells the story of Indra becoming a pig. Indra was cursed to become a pig. And he was very happy in his pig life. Having beautiful, I don't know how beautiful, but for him they were beautiful. Having such beautiful wives around and the cute kids around and the delicious food to eat. He was so absorbed in the material life. When Brahma came to call him, come, the heavenly planet is vacant. There's no king there. Come, you have to take the position. And he's so absorbed in his material life, so much in illusion, that he said, no, I cannot come. I've got so many responsibilities here. My kids have just started going to school. Yes. So in this way, you see, even great personalities like Indra were put into illusion. And what to talk about Brahma? Brahma wanted to put Krishna into illusion, not understanding Krishna's power. And therefore he stole the gopas and the calves. And at that time, Krishna felt, after all, he's my bacha. After all, he's my kid. No problem. I'll teach him a lesson. And Krishna put Brahma into illusion. Now, okay, understood. Brahma is living entity. To put him under illusion is okay. But Balram was also put into illusion. For good 1 year, only some 4-5 days were remaining for the entire year to complete. And at that time, Balram realized, kuch to alag lag raha hai. Something different. How is it that all these cows and all these elderly gopis, they are so affectionate towards their kids? Like they're affectionate towards Krishna. And then he goes and asks Krishna. Firstly, he contemplates himself. And he starts thinking, is it illusory potency of the Lord who has put me into illusion? And he said, no, I am also Ishvara. How can I be put into illusion? Then he realized, no, this is my Lord who has put me into illusion. Therefore, when it comes to Yoga Maya potency, she puts all these great personalities into illusion to enhance the Lord's pastimes, Lord's leelas. Lord's energy is really amazing. She does amazing service. All the time she keeps thinking, how can I give pleasure to the Lord and his devotees and his parts and parcels? Therefore, she puts the associates of the Lord into illusion to enhance the leelas of the Lord. And she puts us into illusion to enhance our leelas. You see? So she is doing amazing service. There she is giving pleasure to the Lord and the associates of the Lord. And here she is helping the living entity to get pleasure in this material world. So Yoga Maya, Mahamaya. And both are Maya, because both of them put into illusion. Now another very important thing, if I have to analyze if I'm in illusion, how can I analyze? When Brahma started doing various creation, from shadow he created something. He created 5 entities from shadow. And these are 5 coverings of ignorance on the living entity. Tamas, Moha, Mahamoha, Tamishra and the Tamishra. First one is Tamas or Avidya, ignorance in general. So this condition is a condition where the person does not know that he is spirit soul. He does not know his identity. He thinks that he is master and he tries to lord it over material nature or tries to enjoy in this material nature. The tendency to enjoy is so great, so very great. So we understand that when a person starts enjoying in this material world, at that time, we have to be very clear about his position that he is in ignorance. So anyone who tries to enjoy, he is in ignorance. And such people in avidya, they consider impermanent to be permanent, misery to be happiness, etc., etc. Tell me, these people who are drug addicts, and sometimes, when they cut their veins and the blood is flowing, it's so wonderful and so nice, so pleasurable. Tell me, what is so pleasurable in cutting one's own vein and seeing the blood oozing out? And what is so pleasurable getting a snake and getting a snake bite? I feel, very nice. So, a sane person, when he looks at all this, he's like, what is this? They're considering misery to be happiness. Yeah, that's what is the definition of avidya. Prabhupada writes, there are different stages of avidya. What are the different stages of avidya, Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. Prabhupada calls this as different stages of avidya. And the ultimate stage is moksha, where the person, now he thinks that he is non-different from the Lord. Now, this is something which is very nice. The definition of moksha which Prabhupada is giving, where he tries to equate himself or tries to become one with the Lord. This is the highest stage of avidya. Prabhupada writes in one of the purport, he says, he has rebelled against the service of the Lord, he is therefore put into the service of Maya. So anyone who rejects the Lord's service has to be engaged in some service. After all, we are servants. So we have to be in service of someone. So if I have rejected the service of the Lord, then I have to render service to Maya. He's still serving, but in perverted manner. But when he wants to get out of the service under material bondage, he next desires to become one with the Lord. This is another illusion. So now when he realizes, no, I don't want to serve Maya. I want to come out of this material bondage. Now, in the course of coming out of material bondage, he aspires to become one with the Lord. And that is the last snare of Maya. When the living entity thinks to become one with the Lord, the living entity thinks to become the Lord, compete with the Supreme, that is the last snare of Maya. And we devotees can easily get into this. With time, when the number of people paying obeisances increase, so you never know when this Chota Prabhu will start competing with Mahaprabhu. You never know. Yes. Very dangerous, very dangerous. I used to think how is it possible that devotees will compete with the Lord? But no, it's very natural. It's very natural. So many people are giving so much of respect. Then with time it feels, that I'm also something. It looks like I have some power. There's no power. But I'm just saying, the person might start thinking, maybe I also have some power. And with time, the same personality might stop paying obeisances to the Lord, stop offering prayers while before honoring prasad, stop offering various different services. He might offer various different other services, but he might stop some services thinking, no, I don't think I need to do all this now. I've already reached. Little more. Only flute and pick-off feather is missing. Little more. This is avidya or tamaha. Next thing is moha or asmita. Moha means false ego. And false ego, which Prabhupada is mentioning as aham and mameti, I and mine. So this is a great illusion of this world, where the person thinks that this body is me and the entities connected to this body are mine. Therefore, it is described that when someone is there in family life and there is no Krishna conscious element in that person is an utter moha. Like the example of Indra that we saw. Indra as a pig is in complete bodily conception of life, where he's saying that this pig body, it is so nice, it's me. And all the piglets and the she-pig, everyone are mine. And this entire area is mine. This part of gutter is mine. No one else should come here. And the opulence of this gutter is mine. You just think about it. This is about the lower species. Same exists in the higher species, and that is we, human beings. Same exists even for the heavenly planet personalities. If those heavenly denizens, they see is that someone is doing more tapasya, if someone is speaking too much on brahmacharya and maintaining too much of brahmacharya, will spoil his brahmacharya. They'll send some apsara. Obviously, for us, there is no need of apsara. Anyone from the road is enough. But for great personalities, they send apsara to destroy. Why? No, if this person comes here, then maybe he might compete with my position. My position. You see? I and mine. So this is called as moha. And even when it comes to all of us, we can, obviously we are convinced that we are in illusion, but still sometimes we get confused. That if I'm in illusion or not, we can check if we have moha or not, I and mine. We can pinch ourselves and see. And also we can see if someone takes away some of our objects, how we behave. Moha. Next is mahamoha or raga, attachment. So now the person is mad after material enjoyment. He develops a lot of attachments. And he feels that these are the things that will give me happiness. These are the things that will help me to do better sense enjoyment, attachment. In due course of time, along with Mahamoha comes Tamishra or Dvesha, hatred. He starts becoming averse to various other entities which act as obstacle, for his enjoyment. And you know who is the biggest obstacle in our enjoyment? What's that? See? Shameless fellow. Krishna. That's the point. The biggest obstacle is Krishna. Therefore, somehow I should get rid of him. This is what is the mood of a living entity. And this envy. This envy. There shouldn't be any Krishna. Why do you think so many people are becoming atheistic nowadays? Envy. He is the obstacle. Just remove him. If he is not there, no rules and regulation, there's no one to see, I can do whatever I want. This is the biggest illusion that is there. This is Tamishra. Andha Tamishra or Abhinivesh. Andha Tamishra or Abhinivesh means absorption. Absorption in sense pleasure. And now when the person is so absorbed doing sense gratification, tell me what is the fear that he will have? He's completely absorbed in sense pleasure. Everything is very nice. He has his family, I, mine, and then he's attached to his family members. He's envious or he's averse to all the enemies. And he's in complete ignorance that he is the master of the family. He is the enjoyer. What is the fear that he will have when he's in complete deep absorption in sense pleasure? If that is taken away. And what is the ultimate way of taking away all the sense objects from us? Death. This person is very, very fearful of death. Very, very fearful. He considers, and another thing is he considers death to be ultimate end. He does not understand that there is next life also. Death is ultimate end. So he's like, enjoy Madi. This life we have. Enjoy as much as you want. And once we give up this body, anyways, everything is over. It's okay. This is towards those people who are very degraded in their consciousness. But those who are not that degraded, surely they'll have that fear of death. Everyone has that fear of death. So these are the 5 coverings of ignorance that we have. Tamas, Moha, Mahamoha, Tamishra and Andhatamishra. These are the 5 coverings. So anytime you want to analyze if you are an illusion or not, just check if these 5 exist. Or even one of them is enough to tell that, okay, litmus test successful. You're in ignorance. You're in illusion. Now, Prabhupada writes a very important line. He says, this illusion caused by material energy acts especially on conditioned souls. So we are those conditioned souls. And we are always put into illusion by the illusory potency of the Lord. By the way, it's her service. We shouldn't blame her, saying that, she is so cruel and she is this and she is that. No, this is her service. We want to become masters and she is helping us to become masters. As simple as that. We have come here to become masters. We don't have any other goal in life. We want to enjoy. Who can enjoy? Only a master can enjoy. That's what is the conception that we have. And we want to become master. And Maya Devi is doing service. She is helping us. By Moha, Tamas, Moha, Mahamoha, Tamishra, Andha Tamishra. She is helping us. She is convincing us and she gives us that full determination that I am the master. I am that Ishvara. I am that Prabhu. And only in iskcon people recognize that I am this Prabhu. So everyone calls me Prabhu. You see, I am Prabhu. And therefore, you see, initially when newcomers come and we call them as Prabhu, they feel very nice. Kisko bola? Mujhe? Prabhu? Yes. And feels very nice because finally we are here to become Prabhu. And Maya Devi is helping us. So therefore it is said that material energy acts especially on conditioned souls. But sometimes it also acts on the liberated souls. Now you have to understand the definition of liberation. As soon as we talk about liberation, we need to understand whom are we talking about And Acharyas, when they talk about liberated soul, they also give the definition. And Prabhupada is giving a definition here. He says, a liberated soul is a person who has sufficient knowledge of this material world and is therefore unattached to the bodily conception of life. So this personality basically is detached from this material world. And actually that's a big thing. That's liberation. Brahma bhuta prasanna atma na shochati na kangshati. That is his situation, where he has no hankering for material things and no lamentation when he loses material things. Completely detached. And see, this phase is also very, very blissful. Brahma bhuta prasanna atma. Very happy. Very blissful. His situation can be compared to a person who is drowning in the water. Now, when someone is drowning in the water, he's gasping for breath. Just imagine, he's in the middle of the ocean and he's drowning and he's gasping for breath. And then he comes out. And when he raises his head outside the water and when he's able to breathe, oh, that's the bliss of Brahman. There's so much of happiness. So much of happiness. I'm able to breathe. He's so happy. He's so happy. And then he just keeps his head out and then he's happy smiling. But now the problem is you're in the middle of ocean and you put your head out and you're smiling and you're able to breathe or whatever, due to whatever reason you've come out. But we are forgetting there are many sharks inside. There are many other entities inside who can just pull us in. This is what Srila Prabhupada talking about. He says that because of association with the modes of material nature for a very long time, even liberated souls sometimes become captivated by illusory energy due to inattentiveness in the transcendental position. Let's ponder on these few lines now. So now when the person has come out of water and there are so many other entities who can pull him down, he is not conscious of that. He's not attentive about that. Same thing was the case with Bharat Maharaj. Bharat Maharaj, it was not that he went to get attached to something. He was just inattentive. That's it. He was just little inattentive. And that little inattentiveness is enough to get stuck in this material world. So instead of just putting his head outside the water, he has to find out where is the land and get onto the land. That's what he's supposed to do. What does that mean? You have to give up this and seek for a higher shelter. Now, if I give up the lower shelter and if I'm hanging in the air, now what is my destination? Yes. Anytime I can fall. Therefore, it's very important. The Shastras recommend that you get detached, but you also should get a shelter, a permanent shelter. If you don't have a permanent shelter, then it's a problem. Since we have the taste of this material world from time immemorial, we can again fall back to taste it again. Therefore, it's very important that we need to get that shelter, or else we'll be pulled down again in the waters and we'll be drowning. So in Bharat Maharaj's case, this was the thing that happened. He had not got that ultimate shelter of Krishna Prem. Obviously, he was there close, but he was not there completely in that position of Krishna Prem. And unfortunately, because of inattentiveness, he fell. And see what Prabhupada says, he suffered 2 lifetimes. Prabhupada is not saying he took 2 births. He's saying he suffered 2 lifetimes. And then he attained the ultimate destination. So this inattentiveness in dealings of this world is very dangerous. Very dangerous. Especially when we are not on the spiritual platform. So all of us, we are there in this material world, we are conditioned living entities. Little inattentiveness and there will be a cut for sure. Either that will be in terms of again getting back to the material ways of life, or it can be the other end, that is becoming a Mayavadi, thinking oneself to be one with the Lord. Little inattentiveness is enough. Little inattentiveness. Either we'll go to this extent or that extent. Prabhupada cautions a very important thing that he says. Therefore, no one should think of himself as a liberated person immune to the influence of Maya. Everyone should very cautiously execute devotional service by rigidly following regulative principles. Now, this is the thing that Prabhupada is saying. Prabhupada once said that the trouble with his disciples is they're not sufficiently afraid of Maya. Now, at times, Prabhupada's disciples, they would say that once Prabhupada's disciple came and then he was telling that, Prabhupada, I'm planning to go to a nightclub and distribute your books. How is the idea? And Prabhupada said, idea is very good, but please make sure that you come back. It's a very important thing to note that we are not there on that platform, on a very, very higher platform, to pick people who are at a very, very lower platform and pull them, to that higher platform. We are not there. We are not there in that place. We are not there in the destiny. We have not attained that destination of Krishna Prem yet. But one thing is there, that as soon as we become proud that I am something, I have become something, I have attained something, the next thing is fall. We will fall, for sure. Once one devotee was telling, one Grihastha devotee was telling me, Prabhuji, all of you are already liberated. I said, what are you saying? No, I'm not liberated. I'm still stuck. No, you're already liberated. Look at you. You people, in general, he was saying, you people, you renunciants or aspiring renunciants. No, you need not think about these all material things. You have nothing to think about office, wife, kids, family, possessions, getting this thing from the market, that thing from the market, this shopping, that shopping, nothing. Bro, you're actually liberated. Then I started contemplating. Maybe he's correct. Actually, to be frank, it's almost 50% job done. For renunciants, 50% job is already done. Which is a very big thing to give up a lot of things of this material world. Sometimes people ask renunciants, how did you give up your high-paying job? कैसे कर दिए? It's so difficult. So difficult. How did you give up the sense gratification? They don't know we do. There's so much of sense gratification, but people feel in general renunciation, no sense gratification. I had gone to one house for a program, and there they were serving feast, and that day my stomach was not good. Therefore, I said that they were serving. I said, no, just little, not so much, just little. And then I took little rice and this one. And then the host, he says, see, this is how renunciants are, completely detached. So much of feast is there, and then he's just taking this much, and I was thinking, arey bhai, mera pet kharab hai. And by the way, when I had gone to treatment, that was another revelation for me. So they were just giving me khichdi. Morning khichdi, evening khichdi, and afternoon rasam and rice. This was for good 9 days. So there were those hospital admins who would come to meet us every day. Any suggestions, any feedback. So they were asking, how is the food? I said, no, nothing is there in the food. Morning khichdi, evening khichdi. And at that time they commented, they're saying, anyways, this will be easy for you. You're renunciant, and I'm sure you'll be having something like this only regularly. And I was wondering, my God, look at the expectation of people. Yes. And they would give salt separately. Usme salt bhi nahi hota tha. Maybe they think renunciants don't need salt. Therefore, one thing that we see, now this is what people think. And to a very great extent, they are correct when it comes to various attachments to this material world. Be it some material sense gratification, like say a car or a bungalow or having a family. So maybe renunciants might not be interested in that. So almost 50% of the job is done. Very, very close. Very, very close to the destination. But one thing is there, that as soon as a renunciant is not careful, little inattentive, that 50% that he has come, he can fall back again and go back to zero, square one. And he'll not realize also he has gone to square one. Only when someone comes and says and shows maybe the pictures of, Prabhuji, aap aise the, aap aise class dete the, मैं ऐसा था, क्या हो गया, what happened? This is what happened with one rishi. Haribol. This is what happened with Shaubari Muni. So Shaubari Muni, such a great renunciant. To an extent, he left everything and he went inside the water to do his tapasya. And while doing tapasya, somehow because of the offense that he committed to Garuda, he got allured by two fishes. He was allured by two fishes. And he saw two fishes mating. And he thought, oh, sex pleasure is so nice. Then he decided, I'll also marry. He came out of the water. When he came out of the water, so at that time, his entire body was emaciated. You can imagine, for many years you're there in the water, what will happen? All skin and flesh and this and that, and very ugly looking. He went to the kingdom of Mandata. And there he went, he got to know that he has got 50 daughters. And he said, give me some. I want to marry your daughter. So King Mandata, he felt now he's a tapasvi. I cannot reject also. If I say no, then he might curse me or he might do something. So he used a trick. So King Mandata, he said that, okay, you can go to my daughters and whoever is interested in you, I have no problem in getting them married to you. Now Shaubari understood. This is a trick. I am so ugly, therefore he is saying like this. And therefore Shaubari, with his mystic power, he did so much of tapasya, no? With his mystic power, he transformed himself to a very, very handsome personality. And now, all the 50 girls, they wanted to marry Shaubari. And all of them, they married him. And Shaubari enjoyed like anything with all of them and he created a huge empire. And finally, at one point of time, he realized, after many, many years of enjoyment, he realized, what am I doing here? What's happening? And when he realized what was he doing before as a renunciant, then he realized, I've come very, very far. And one fine day, he left everything and he went back. I don't know if he went underwater. I'm not sure about that. But he went back to his tapasya. But you can just imagine, the entire empire was built. Entire empire was built by him. Therefore, sometimes a little inattentiveness might take a person very, very, very far. And after a very long time, maybe the person will realize, oh, he has come very far. Therefore, this little inattentiveness is something that has to be taken care. Therefore, principles of ashram life has to be followed. Be it grihastha ashram principles or brahmacharya ashram principles. Especially when it comes to brahmacharya ashram principles, those have to be followed very, very strictly. Because if those principles are not followed, and we think that anyways I have spent good number of years in the ashram, and so many people are inspired by me. I see so many people look up to me, even in the ashram. So I think I have come far now. I have reached some higher heights of brahmacharya ashram. But let me remind myself and all the others, who are aspiring to be a renunciant. History has been a proof where renunciants have married or fallen in affection or got infatuated by their own female disciples. Yes, history has been a proof. Little principle not followed here and there, gone. Therefore, these Bhagavatam verses, these are all reminders for all of us. Not just this, even for grihasthas for that matter. Even for grihasthas, it's not that they are safe. Because to be with one wife throughout life is an achievement. But as soon as there is a desire to enjoy someone else, then when he gets into it, there's so many things the person has to face. One is the hellish condition that he will have to go through when he's there in this world, and later also. And same with brahmacharis. So when it comes to devotees in general, we have come so close. So now the only thing that we have to do is, we have to be attentive. Every time we have to be attentive. And especially when it comes to Bhagavatam class, it is a time to get reminders. Even if the point is repeated again and again, Still, it's a reminder for us. And more, when we get reminded, naturally we become alert. Sadhu Saudhan. Immediately, all sadhus are Saudhan. All those who consider themselves to be sadhu, they become Saudhan. They become alert. And this alertness is very important. So, we kab tak alert rehna hai? Till what point are we supposed to be alert? What point? Till the death. No. Before that only. There should be a point. Before that only there should be a point where there is no need to be so conscious and so alert of this material world. Krishna is saying this in Bhagavad-gita, 7th chapter, shloka 14. Daivi hesha gunamai mama maya duratyaya mam evaye prapadyante maya metam tarantite. So those personalities who have taken complete shelter of the Lord, completely surrendered to the Lord, they are the ones who are safe. They are the ones who are safe. Now say someone says, Prabhuji, I'm 50% surrendered to the Lord. What is my position? 50% you are unsafe. Prabhuji, 99% I'm surrendered to the Lord. 1% we are unsafe. And do you think that 1% is very small for Maya? She is huge, she is infinite, but she can become very, very tiny and enter that 1% hole that is remaining in your life. She can enter there and just expand. She can blast and create a lot of space, for material things to enter. Therefore, if 99% we are surrendered, we are still 1% insecure. We are in 1%, that position where anytime we can be attacked. Therefore, 100% surrender is what is expected. 100%. What do you mean by 100% surrender? Following the 6 angas of surrender, Sharanagati, 6 limbs of Sharanagati very nicely, especially the first 2. Doing only those things which Krishna will be pleased with, and not doing anything by which Guru and Krishna will not be pleased. First 2 has to be done very, very strictly. The rest of the other things are mercy. That will come with time. But the first 2 have to be done very strictly, very rigidly, very diligently. And I think we have repeated this point many times in the classes. We have heard this many times. That our life is meant to give pleasure to Guru and Krishna. This is what is our life meant for. We have nothing else apart from this. So as soon as we understand that, okay, they will not like this particular thing if I do, we shouldn't do. But what to do? We are living entities with independent mentality, with a rebel inside. We all have that rebellious entity inside. We want to be independent and we don't want to follow anyone. We want to be rebellious. So all these things will not allow us to become 100% surrendered. 99.999 is also possible. 100% is something that is very difficult for a living entity. Therefore, at least in the initial stage, attentively one has to make sure that we don't do activities which will displease the spiritual authorities, and do those activities which will please the spiritual authorities. Actively, attentively, this is what we're supposed to do. Because the point is we have come so far, from the material realm. Now, why can't we enter the spiritual realm? Why take chance now? All the devotees are practicing bhakti under the shelter called iskcon. They have done a lot of things to come, to path of bhakti. And especially the renunciants, it's a great opportunity, great privilege to attain Krishna Prem within this life before leaving the body. Not at the time of death, before leaving this body. Now there is a question which comes, which is posted by Prabhupada. Whom does the Lord punish? And Prabhupada is saying that Lord is always prepared to excuse his devotees. Chalo, no problem. It's very humorous and very nice. Brahma did all the mischief in Brahma Vimohan Leela. And then he's offering prayers to the Lord. And in the prayers, he's telling, "Oh Lord, you're like my mother. I'm like your kid in your womb." So when the child in the womb, when he hits the mother does not feel offended. And I'm sure, oh Lord, you'll also not feel offended. You'll surely forgive me. I was thinking, wow, kya amazing way. It's such an amazing way to beg forgiveness. I'm your son, I'm your kid in your womb, etc., etc. So Lord is ready to excuse all the nonsense that we do in life. Actually, excuses. If He doesn't excuse, then I don't think we would have been sitting here hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. We should have been suffering in hell for all the mistakes that we might have committed from time immemorial. He is very merciful. He excuses. He excuses. But after understanding that He excuses, if some devotee takes advantage of the leniency of the Lord and repeatedly commit mistakes, here it is said, Lord will certainly punish him. And what is that punishment for a devotee, for a sadhaka? By letting him fall down into the clutches of the illusory energy. Actually, I was thinking when I was reading this, I was contemplating on these few lines. I was thinking that, see, a devotee has come to the Lord. He is practicing bhakti. Now, Lord shouldn't be so cruel, no? He has come and then little mistake here and little sense gratification here and there. Why he has to allow the devotee to fall? Actually, again, this is the mercy of the Lord. So, Lord is saying, He's not interested and He's forcefully doing this. His heart is there in sense gratification. Let me provide him a platform. When he wanted to do bhakti, I have provided the platform to do bhakti. Now when he has still some desires to do sense gratification, no problem. Bacha, you're mine. I'll provide you a platform again. Chalo, enjoy. He'll provide a platform to do sense gratification. This is the merciful nature of the Lord. Where He sees that, okay, my devotee, he's doing so much of austerity, so much of hard work. He wants to do a little bit of the sense gratification. No problem. No, I'll provide sense gratification. And when we're doing sense gratification, Lord is there to remind us again and again, this is not good, this is not good. And sometimes the devotee, sadhaka understands, he comes back, and sometimes sadhaka will not understand. He'll go very far, very far. And then he'll get tight slap from the Lord and come back. Because how long Lord will see him, going far away from him. Lord will try to remind us again and again. If you are not understanding, sort. Sometimes the tight slap is really tight. Pura hil jayega banda. In this way, we see Lord is assisting. This word punish that is used by Srila Prabhupada is just to make us realize that it's actually a punishment for a devotee if he falls from the path of bhakti. But from the perspective of the Lord, if we see, Lord is actually trying to assist all of us to enjoy either on the path of bhakti or on the material realm. He's trying to help us in various ways. Finally, last few lines Prabhupada says in the purport, he says, in other words, theoretical knowledge acquired by studying the Vedas is sufficient. To protect one is not sufficient. To protect one from the clutches of Maya. So, theoretically, we might understand a lot of things. I'd make elaborate notes and memorize all that. And theoretically, we understand. But that is not sufficient. Any example that you remember from Shastra? Okay, Durvasa Muni. He's such a knowledgeable personality. But then, what to do? Not enough. He became so angry on Amrish Maharaj. And any other example? We have example of Ajamil. Yes. He has all knowledge, theoretical knowledge from Shastra. He's such a nice Brahmana. But then that theoretical knowledge will not help. It is given. One of the things which caught my attention in the Ajamil Prasanga was this particular verse, which says that Ajamil, he tried contemplating various different subject matters from Shastra, but the desire of lust took over, overpowered him. So just think about it. Theoretical knowledge is not going to help. Therefore, in a devotee's life, if he has to render devotional service and attain the ultimate destination, one of the important things that helps him to remain always enthusiastic is newer and newer realizations in Krishna consciousness. More the devotee gets realizations in Krishna consciousness, more the devotee will feel enthusiastic. If there are no realizations, then unfortunately what will happen is he'll start feeling he's stagnant and he'll not be able to relish Krishna consciousness. He'll always keep saying, ये सब इतने devotees enthusiastic कैसे? क्या खाते हैं ये लोग? कुछ छुपा के खा रहे क्या? What is that is keeping them enthusiastic? Realizations. Because theory, if it remains only theory for a long time, the devotee will not feel that great eagerness to render devotional service. He'll not feel enthusiastic. But when that theory gets transformed into realization by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, when we are on the path of Sharanagati, then by their mercy we'll get those realizations and we'll be able to remain very enthusiastic in Krishna consciousness. Finally, Prabhupada says, one must strongly adhere to the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service. Then one's position is secure. A question. So is this one-time business? To take shelter of the Lord? Is it one-time business? So in the morning I chant Hare Krishna and I'm completely taking shelter of the Lord. And after my rounds, I'm no more taking shelter of the Lord. Am I secure? No. In fact, this particular activity which Prabhupada has given here, this one last line, seems very simple. One must strongly adhere to the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service, then one's position is secure. Such a simple line. But it's not one-time business, it's moment-to-moment business. For every devotee, it's a moment-to-moment business. As of now, in this particular situation, am I under the shelter of the Lord or not? When I'm not under the shelter of the Lord, immediately another person is always ready to give us shelter. And who is that? Maya. Anadi bahirmukh bhoga vancha kare nikatastha Maya. She's waiting. I'll give you shelter. I'll give you shelter. And we're like, no, I want only Krishna. I want Krishna. And at one point of time, when, in the day, whenever, at one point of time in the day when we're like, okay, now at this moment I don't want Krishna. And she's like, I am there for you. And she comes, Japati adhare. She'll catch us. One moment is enough. One moment is enough. Therefore, moment-to-moment business, taking shelter of the Lord or adhering to the lotus feet of the Lord in devotional service, which Prabhupada is talking about, is moment-to-moment business. So therefore, every devotee, every moment, he should try to check, am I under Krishna's shelter or am I under Maya's shelter? And therefore, Kaya, Vacha, Manasa, all the three, if they're engaged in service of the Lord all the time, then we can say that yes, I am under the shelter of Krishna. Any time when Kaya, body, Vacha, speech, Manasa, mind, is not engaged in service of the Lord, then Nikatastha Maya Tare, Jhapati Adhare. She is there to catch us. Therefore, this is the conclusion of today's session. Taking shelter of the Lord will keep us secure. Or I should put it, if we are under the shelter of the Lord, we are fully secure. But this taking shelter of the Lord is not one-time business, it's moment-to-moment business. Thank you very much. Grantraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai.